Okay, so we're here with a new Darth Dawkins fanboy, and we're going to debate. He has no idea. He's only seen one video of me, so he has no idea what he's in for. We're going to debate the existence of God, and Cutie Pie is my new femboy friend from Clubhouse. He's going to moderate, and Biblicist will, if you can join at the end. Oh wait, I have to mute. Sorry, I have to mute my stream. I have my stream playing. Sorry for the background. Oh, by the way, could you guys? I'm just curious. Could you guys hear that just now? The video playing in the background or not?
Yep.
Oh, good. Because I do want to like start reviewing videos, so I want to know if people can hear that when I play a video. Okay, so Bandu debated. And Toxic Taylor's joining us. You should check out his channel. Bandu. There's a video of him on my channel from a few days ago. He debated Jack Angstrike and Tom Rabbit. Jack Angstrike really didn't like this guy because he hates Darth, and this guy was speaking highly of Darth.
Godless, Sean, you just roboted a little bit.
No idea what he's in for. My screen was frozen. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, your signal's a little bit bad.
Oh shit! What about now?
It's good right now.
Okay. No, what I was saying is Bandu Jack Angstrike was going after him the other day. That's on my channel. Because he was like speaking highly of Darth. So Tom and Jack Angstrike teamed up to go after Bando. But this guy has no idea what my positions are. So we're gonna debate the existence of God, and he's gonna he's a preceptor, but he doesn't realize his argument's just gonna bounce off of me and go back at his God because I'm a epistemological nihilist. I don't think anybody's justified in believing anything, including God. So, sir, my question to you is: how could God know anything when God, all of his beliefs, right, are going to presuppose the law of non-contradiction? But the law of non-contradiction, any justification he attempts for it would be begging the question, sir. So how can God know anything?
So are you defining God's knowledge as a justified true belief?
Yeah. Do you think God has justified true beliefs?
Yeah, so that's the issue. And I mean, if anything, that was brought up in the last video as well. So I would think that primarily the definitions for man's knowledge and God's knowledge are going to be different.
So what do you mean when you say God knows something? So what property does it share with our knowledge?
Well, I would just say God knows everything because he made all things. So that's how we know he has a direct experience. Just like this is just an example, so it's not going to be perfect. But Nintendo knows a GameCube better than you would know it because they manufactured it. They know the details. They know the parts, the blueprints.
No, I don't think that Nintendos have beliefs. Do you think Nintendos have beliefs?
No, I'm just saying they would know the concept of the GameCube more than someone who just has it, right? Because they manufacture and produce it, they know the details more than just how to turn it on and play a game.
I'm sorry, sir. Are you saying God does not have beliefs?
No, God, as far as I know, God does not have beliefs.
Okay, so so what I take omniscience to be is to hold all true propositions to be true. But that's what a belief is, right? Is to hold a proposition to be true. So you're saying God does not hold propositions to be true.
Wait, what is you're talking about with that in omniscience?
Yeah, my definition of omniscience is to believe all true propositions. That's not your definition?
I just wanted to make sure that I knew that's what you were saying with it. But I'm just, if anything, I would just say that, yeah, he knows all things because he made all things. And that's how he has a direct experience as being God, as setting forth all of history or all knowable facts, all things that are possible, impossible, and all metaphysical facts as well. But what was your question?
I'm sorry, can you repeat what you just said?
Yeah, so I'm just saying because he created all things, he knows all things through his direct act of creation and his decrees.
Wait, so he does hold all true propositions to be true?
Yeah, he is the one that makes the standard of what is true and possible.
So he does have beliefs, because that's what a belief is when you hold a proposition to be true.
I mean, it's just how you want to approach it, but I'm saying he doesn't have beliefs, right? He's not just, I believe that God's gonna be able to still be God tomorrow. No, he's always been eternal. So the way he is always stays the same. So he doesn't have beliefs like me and you do.
Okay, so let's just take the word belief out of it then, if because I'm not going to quibble about that. So let's just take to hold a proposition to be true. Let's take that to be synonymous with blink blogging, right? So if you're blink blogging something, that means you're holding a proposition to be true. So God blink blogs all true propositions, meaning he holds all true propositions to be true. So my question is, how can he justify his blink blogging, his holding all true propositions to be true? So like take the proposition, the law of non-contradiction is true. How can God justify his holding of the proposition that the law of non-contradiction to be true? How could he justify that without begging the question?
Well, who would he be justifying it to?
Himself.
Wait, why would God have to justify anything to anyone?
So I'm sorry. So you're saying God doesn't have justification for him holding that the law of non-contradiction is...
Justification, you're just saying to show or to prove something to be right or reasonable, right?
I take justification to require an inference, and it's going to be something that raises the probability that your belief is true. So by that definition of justification, how does God justify his holding of the proposition that the law of non-contradiction is true to be true?
Yeah, do you think God needs to raise the probability? If someone created all things and maintains all things and makes what's possible and instantiates all facts and truth, do you think that they would have to justify? Who would he possibly justify this to?
So you're saying it's not justified. He holds this proposition to be true. But by my definition of justification, which it's going to require an inference, and it's going to be something that's required that raises the probability of your belief being true. God's unjustified in believing the law of contradiction is true. That's what you're telling me, sir.
Well, this is why I made this difference right in the beginning about the definition for God's knowledge and man's knowledge is different. It's fundamentally different.
So you're acknowledging to me that God's unjustified in believing the law of non-contradiction is true.
He made all those laws. He made the laws of logic. So that's how he knows them.
You know what, Darth?
And if anything, they're just a reflection of his mind.
On a side note, Darth Dawkins is not going to agree with you about that, sir. So I can actually help you after our debate, because that's not what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to say that like the laws of logic are grounded in God's nature. You wouldn't want to say he created them, right? Because that would actually end up being gibberish. Because there was a state prior to the law that existed prior to the laws of logic being true. It wouldn't even make any sense. But you said they're a reflection of his mind. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean that's where they're
fundamentally rooted. So how does God justify his belief that the reflection of his mind corresponds to reality?
You're asking why would God but that begs the question, why would God justify anything?
A question cannot beg the question, sir. I asked you a question.
No, no. You're saying you're asking that question, assuming that God needs to justify something. I'm asking who would he even do that to?
So you're saying he can't justify his belief that the law of non-contradiction is true?
I'm not saying he can't, but I'm just saying he doesn't have to do that to begin with. And that's just what makes the difference between his knowledge and your knowledge or something.
Okay, so God doesn't have the justified true belief that the law of non-contradiction is true. He doesn't have justification.
No, he knows. Well, first of all, he knows that because he made that. So he doesn't have to verify anything. He doesn't have to justify anything. He doesn't need to believe it. Again, he knows it because he's the one who instantiated it. He's the one that designed it.
So he's unjustified in it. In believing
justified to who? He's unjustified by who?
What do you mean? I don't understand the question. By who? Like, if God asks himself
before
he created any of us, before he created the world, if he asks himself, how do I justify? I hold the proposition that the law of non-contradiction is true to be true, right? So, what is my justification for that? What does God say to himself?
He is the programmer, literally instantiating that and saying whatever you just said equals true. And semicolon, like in terms of object-oriented programming, that's what the programmer does. They write the code and instantiate the code, and make certain things as certain values true or false.
So God is unjustified in believing it. but yet he's omniscient.
I don't know if that guy meant to mute himself. I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, we can hear you, Toxic.
Okay, he muted. Let me just look at the. Can I just check out what the? Hang on 1 second. I have to just look at my YouTube stream real quick.
Yeah, I mean, you keep asking justify. That just the
Anyway,
definition
so,
details to show or to prove something's right. So that's the entire difference here, is that God doesn't have to show or prove that he's right. He is right, and he is the starting point of rightness.
Okay, sorry. So we're supposed to be debating the existence of God, right? So you've admitted that God is not justified in believing the law of non-contradiction is true, but you're claiming to know that God exists. So you're claiming to have the justified true belief that God exists. But so now my question is, if God doesn't even have any justified true beliefs, then how the fuck can you know anything, sir? Right? So my question now to you is, sir, how can you even know that God exists when that would presuppose the law of non-contradiction, and you can't justify that the law of non-contradiction is true without begging the question? Oh, you were just
so simply put, what exactly you're asking me?
Yeah, you claim to know that God exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, how the fuck do you know that when you can't know anything? Because all of your beliefs are going to presuppose. God doesn't even have any justified true beliefs, right? And on top of that, all of your beliefs are going to presuppose.
So I think this is the issue, when maybe you didn't understand what I said, or I don't know if you just didn't grasp onto it. But I'll say it again. God knows everything, and because he instantiated all things, he declared all things, he decreed all things. So he is the one sustaining all facts, all metaphysical truths, everything that's possible versus impossible. He's the one that's how he intimately knows that in a fundamental different way than me and you could ever know things.
Let's just not use the word knowledge, because you don't think that God actually has what I take knowledge to be, justified true beliefs. So let's just take the word knowledge out of it and say justified true beliefs. God doesn't have any justified true beliefs, but you do, sir. So my question is, how do you justify any of your beliefs? All your beliefs are going to presuppose your cognitive faculties are reliable, and the law of non-contradiction is true.
No, I don't just suppose that based on my own whims or based on my own thinking. I know that they're reliable because God says that he made them in a certain way, in a fashion where I can trust them, and normally most other people can trust them as well.
How do you know that God doesn't even have justified true beliefs?
I say God said so.
How do you know that?
Because God said in his word.
How do you know that? When you say that, so if God was to say, give you a revelation or something, or give you a Bible, as soon as you utter a word or read a word, that even one word is going to presuppose that the law of non-contradiction is true. So if you can't justify your belief that the law of non-contradiction is true, you can't receive a revelation from God, sir. And on top of that, you're saying that God is a being. Sorry, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt.
No, I just want to make sure I catch what you're saying. So do you think that the laws, you keep bringing up logic into this, which I think is a good, interesting point. Now, do you think that the laws of logic were discovered, or did man make them?
I think that they're propositions. I think that they're true, whether or not any minds think they're true, I guess. So I think.
Okay, so man discovered them then, right?
Yeah, but just to know, I'm an epistemological nihilist, so I don't think anybody knows the laws of logic are true. I don't think anybody knows anything, including God, which you've actually acknowledged that by my definition of knowledge, God doesn't know anything.
Well, you're jumping the ship here. So I just want to make sure that when right here, you're saying that man discovered them. So how do they come into being? You keep instantiating them, keep talking about them, referencing them in this conversation.
I don't think they came into being. I think they exist necessarily.
Wait, so they always exist?
They've existed. Yeah, I guess so.
So okay, where do they come from?
They don't come. They exist necessarily. They're not contingent upon anything.
Oh, you're saying they're eternal?
Oh, well, I don't know if reality is eternal. I don't know. I don't have a position on that.
So were they designed by any force, any act of nature?
No.
Okay, they just are.
Yeah, they exist necessarily. I mean, they exist in all possible worlds. They're not contingent upon anything. Nothing caused them.
Well, let's just focus on this world, right? I mean, I mean, there's a lot of debates about it, what we can know even in this world before we can talk about different universes. But
I'm not
this
talking
right
about
here,
different universes. I'm using the you don't know what a possible world is, like in philosophy? Is that what you're telling me, sir?
oh, are you saying different, like the non-God world, the God world? Like example,
A
right?
possible world in philosophy is any state of affairs that doesn't entail a contradiction.
So why can't, if you're a nihilist, why can't there be contradictions?
Well, see, so I believe that there can't be, but since I don't know anything, I'm not saying that I know it.
So
I don't
you
think
have
I
no
know anything.
knowledge?
No, I don't think I know anything. Can you tell me how I could know something?
Well,
How do you know
I mean,
anything,
the
sir?
way you live your life, I'm sure you wake up every single morning with a purpose. There's loved ones right there, and you treat them that you know that you ought to treat them in a certain way, that you ought to live your life in a certain
No, I
way.
don't know
So
that. I don't think
yeah,
I know anything,
you're,
sir.
well, I'm saying, do you live
I
your
don't,
life
sir, how
in a
could I
dumpster
even
or in the
know
trash
those
bin?
other people exist, right? How do I know I'm not in some Cartesian scenario and those people don't actually exist? How would I know that? How do you know that?
Yeah,
How
sure.
do you know
Well,
you're
because
talking to
God
me? You
said
do not
that's
know
not the
you're
point.
talking to me right now. How do you know you're talking to me right now?
Because God said, I mean, have you ever seen the movie The Matrix before?
Have I ever seen what?
The Matrix.
What?
Have you ever seen the movie The Matrix?
Oh, I don't. I have not seen it, but I'm very familiar with the concept. So, yeah.
Okay,
How do you know
I
you're
think
not in the
most.
Matrix, sir?
Well, this is really relevant because
Here's a better question: How does
if you
God know
want,
He's not in the Matrix?
well, let me answer the first one before we get the second one. Is that very simply I think you've heard of him, Neo. He was in the movie. He's a programmer. He's typing away at his computer, and the point in time when he realized he was in the Matrix is when somebody outside of the Matrix, external from the Matrix, was able to again send him a message. Someone internally in the Matrix and tell him a different way, methods, and eventually an escape plan to get out of the Matrix. So if he didn't have a way or a person or someone out there outside of the Matrix to tell him and to give him this information, there would be no way for him to verify it or know or to be able to make that determination. So we know particularly that we're not in the Matrix because we have an external source. We have God, again, telling him the reality that we're experiencing is actually true. It's designed by him and it actually has a plan and a purpose.
Sir, look, what's that guy's name you just said is the programmer in the movie?
Neo.
Okay, so this is the problem. There's no observation Neo can make, and there's no observation that you can make that's inconsistent with you being in a matrix, right? Neo could be thinking he's like the programmer of some matrix. Well, he's in a matrix. You could be thinking you're programming a matrix. Well, you're actually in a matrix and you're just fucking delusional, right? So, sir, you don't know. Let's get back to the point. You don't know that you're talking to me right now because there's no observation, including like feeling that God, this God who you don't even think has any justified true beliefs. You've admitted you don't think he has any justified true beliefs. There's no observation, including feeling like you're experiencing some revelation from God and reading the Bible that's inconsistent with you being in the matrix, sir.
So the entire point is, I'm saying that God has given his revelation. It's the best-selling book in mankind. Again, with all the different tribes, tongue, and nations going to this as a source of their truth. This is why Christianity is the number one world religion. And this, again, in this revelation, it says that we're not in the matrix. So I have an external source of truth that verifies our existence.
Yeah, you could. How do you know that? You could be in. You could believe that you have this revelation from God and actually be in the matrix. That's
because
believing
again,
and feeling this revelation from God is not inconsistent with you being in the matrix.
No, because God says, again, he's a source of truth. He's true. His word is truer than true. Again, he's the one who designed and made it. That's how he knows the law of non-contradictions. And if he says that he created this world and the world that we live in is actually the reality we're experiencing, then that's always going to be true.
Sir, hang on, I have to get up and close my bedroom door. Hang on one second. Okay, sorry, sir. Sorry, I was just reading something too. I'm sorry. I could put you into a matrix, and look. Say I was are you familiar with the Cartesian demon?
All right, you can explain it. I'm not sure.
So it's like a similar scenario to the Matrix. But so it's where all that exists is you and like this omnipotent evil demon, right? And this omnipotent evil demon just all he wants to do all day is whack his dick off to him deceiving you. So everything you believe is actually false. And he's just like sitting there whacking his dick off to doing this to you, right? So I could be that demon, right? You don't know you're talking to me right now. I could actually be that fucking demon. And I'm sitting here whacking my dick off. And yeah, I sent you this feeling that you got a revelation that made you think that there's this thing called the Christian God and the Bible is true and all this shit. Well, I was just coming in your fucking face, bitch. So I could do that, right? If I'm an omnipotent demon, I could do that. And I could make you believe that this revelation I sent you was from a Christian God and that the Bible is true. And so this question is, sir, so that observation, you like thinking you had this revelation, isn't inconsistent with me being the demon that's whacking my dick off because you're being deceived.
But
bitch.
the entire issue.
So the question is, sir, I'm almost done.
Yeah.
The question is, how do you know I'm not that demon doing that, sir?
Well,
and you can't say because of the revelation, because that's the revelation occurring is completely consistent with me deceiving you, being an omnipotent demon. I want you to be deceived. I want you to think that you had fucking revelations that aren't true, you moron. So how do you know I'm not the demon,
and this is ultimately the ultimatum that Adam and Eve had in the Garden of Eden. Are they going to listen to God's revelation, the source of who spoke all existence into being, and again it had an intimate relationship with them, and again created everything good that they ever experienced? Or are they going to listen to the voice of a demon who said that they could be like God and they right to resist God's demands and his order? And again, essentially that's what you're saying. Am I supposed to believe someone who again doesn't even know, again, doesn't have knowledge of the universe and who says that it's impossible to even get there? Or am I supposed to believe, again, the voice of God and his revelation, the one who designed all things and made all things and holds the universe at his hand? So am I supposed to believe your speculation or the objective revelation of God?
Okay, sir, honestly, I apologize. I was reading something, so I didn't hear anything you said, but everything you said. But look, I'm going to try to go a little different tactic here. I think this will be entertaining. It's funny. So how do you know God exists?
He's revealed himself.
Because of the revelation, right? How do you know that?
Because I've read his word.
How do you know that?
Because I have a Bible. I just read the Bible a few moments ago.
How do you know that?
How do I know I read the Bible?
Yeah.
Because I experienced reading it.
How do you know that? How do you know you weren't just created like false, like five? How do you know I'm not the omnipotent demon that just created you 5 seconds ago with false memories about a past, including reading the Bible?
Because of uniformity of nature. Again, my God has designed our minds.
How do you know the uniformity of nature holds
certain past memories?
How do you know that you? No, you're begging the question. You're begging the question. How do you
is?
know the uniformity of nature is true, right? If you were just created 5 seconds ago with false memories about the past, then the uniformity of nature wouldn't be true.
That's an impossible circumstance.
Yeah, so how do you know it's not the case?
Because that's impossible. That's not the way God designed the universe.
You just contradicted yourself. You just said it was possible, and now you're saying it's impossible.
No, I said that's impossible. No, I think you misheard me. I said it was impossible.
Oh, how do you know that?
Because again, God is the one that set forth what is possible, impossible in the universe.
You're starting with God, sir. So
yes, amen.
Look, you're starting with God and you're concluding with God, so that's circular.
Yeah, everyone's final authority is going to be circular.
Sir. Look, I'm sorry. That's why I'm an epistemological nihilist, right? Because circular reasoning is always fallacious. Are you saying that circular reasoning isn't fallacious?
Do you know that you're a nihilist?
No, I don't think I know anything.
So you just contradicted yourself. You said you knew something, you were something, but you actually don't know it.
I didn't say I knew anything.
You said I am something, but you don't even know.
Yeah, I believe I am things. I believe I am things. That doesn't mean I know them.
Well, okay, now that you're specifying, it makes it more clear. So you believe you're a nihilist. Okay.
Yeah, and we can have a debate another time if you want to argue my position is self-defeating, because I don't even think my position is self-defeating. So you're welcome to come back on my stream another time, or even later on tonight for the is Godless's worldview self-defeating? But you know what? It doesn't even. I'll be happy to debate that with you, but we're not going to do that right now. We're not going to switch to my position, because my position might be self-defeating, right? That doesn't make your world. It doesn't make your worldview. It doesn't justify your worldview, right? I'm just giving you arguments and asking you questions and doing an internal critique of your position. So, sir, circular reasoning is always fallacious. So if you start with God and end with God, that's circular, sir. It's fallacious. You made an error in reasoning, sir. Try again.
I'm trying to ask you, by what standard is that?
By what standard is what?
Oh, is that a contradiction? Who says I can't do that?
I didn't say it was a contradiction. I said.
Oh, I thought you said it was circular. Because of circulars, it would be a contradiction. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it means like if like the conclusion of your argument is parasitic, or I'm sorry, the premise of your argument is parasitic on the conclusion, then it's not justified, right?
It's not. I'm saying that every person's ultimate authority is going to be circular. I believe you believe
so
your
how
human
can you know
reasoning
anything?
because I'm saying you believe your human reasoning because your human reasoning is telling you it's right. I believe God's word because God's word is testifying to its truthfulness.
I don't understand how this is relevant.
Because you're trying to bring up an issue like it was an issue, but clearly I'm saying in every single circumstance of every single
are you saying that you think
their final
circular
authority is going to
reasoning
be circular?
Are you saying you don't think circular reasoning is fallacious?
Not in terms of ultimates or final authorities.
Special pleading. He's special pleading.
Yeah, but that's you like you admit that's what's
you know
wrong
what?
with that.
So this is what this is like. This guy is saying, right? I could just say any absurd claim is my ultimate authority, right? Like I don't exist, and how do I know that? Because I don't exist. I don't exist because I don't exist, and that's my ultimate authority. And what's Bandu's ultimate authority here? God exists because God exists. Oh, why does God exist? Because God exists.
Yeah,
that's
but the issue here is where are you getting that information? That's all internal.
Because God existing is my ultimate authority, and I don't exist because I don't exist because I don't exist.
Yeah,
is my ultimate authority.
That's great
sir.
and all, but
do you see how silly you sound?
No, well, that's great and all, but that the primary issue and the difference between me and your opinion is that you gave me an internal source of truth. I gave you an external source of truth, and that your is always going to be in subjective because it's mind dependent. It came from your mind; it's going to be dependent on your mind, whereas mine is not. And again, it doesn't depend on my mind for me to
look. When you say God is external. Look, sir, I know I interrupt too much, by the way. I try when I listen
I don't mind.
When I listen back to recordings of myself, I don't like how much I interrupt people, so I apologize for that behavior. But anyway, when you say that God's is external, that's just begging the question because that's assuming God exists and that the revelation isn't coming from within. So you're begging the question, sir. Try again. You failed, sir. You flunked.
So you understand that a book which God's revelation is contained in is not dependent on anyone's mind, right?
How do you know that the book you don't even? How do you know that, sir? You don't even know the book is really there. It could be like
is the book in my mind or is it outside of my mind?
If you're in the Matrix, it's only in your mind, isn't it?
Well, the book.
If I'm the omnipotent demon right now, whacking cum into your face when you think that you're reading the Bible because I want to deceive you, then the Bible doesn't actually exist.
Where did that? Where did that thought?
It's all in your
mind.
Did
that thought experiment? Okay, where did that thought experiment come from?
Maybe it came from your own fucking delusional mind. Actually, maybe you're all that exists, and it just.
Well, it didn't come from my mind. I'm not you're the one that taught me what this delusion was. If anything, it comes from
it's a logical possibility that all there is that you exist, and that all your thoughts are just coming from like internally, right?
Yeah, you have internal speculations, which is always going to be subjective.
I don't know what that means, but sir, so how do you know I'm not that demon? How do you know God exists?
Because God says He's the one who created the universe in reality, and He says it's not so.
Yeah, when you say that God. Because you can't say God because God, sir.
I can't wait. So I'm a Christian and I can't talk about what God says about is true?
When I ask you, how do you know God exists? You can't say because God told me to.
And He also exists.
How do you know God told you so?
He told you. He told the world. Everyone knows this.
How do you know that?
Because this is what God said.
How do you know that?
Because it's in His word.
How do you know that?
I read His word.
He said it because He said it. I was wondering how you knew He said it because He said it. Oh, I understand how you know He said it now because He said it.
Well, you're acting just like the snake in the Garden of Eden. And again, and this is exactly what God said. Did God? He questioned God's authority.
Already whenever you are, but yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
And I just want to take a second to ask Gigi, can you clear your throat, please?
Sorry, I've been smoking. I don't usually smoke cigarettes, but I've been smoking a lot recently. I usually just vape.
It's all good.
When this guy gets back, I'm gonna tell him Darth Dawkins would not be too proud of your performance, sir. But also Darth Dawkins, sir, Bendu, did you know anybody, if any of Darth's friends, if they talk to me or Jack Angstrike or Tom Rabbit, he says he won't talk to you anymore, and you're gonna get put on his block list. So I will be sending Darth the videos of you talking to me and Jack and Tom.
No, spare him. Spare him, please.
Well, okay. Well, really, I'm sorry about that. I had some issues, but the first point I wanted to bring up, relevant to our conversation, is again, this is the very first issue that mankind ever faced. Again, we had the serpent, the demon, who actually said you can question God, you can question his authority. What he says actually isn't true, and now actually here are my lies, which you can embrace and try to build your life on them, which is a false foundation. And we see how that has actually cursed and brought mankind into the worst sort of torment for thousands of years since. But your second point about Darth Dawkins, I actually don't have any sort of relationship with him, so I really don't care. I just what I love about it is that all these atheists dedicate their lives to making so much content about him, tracing him down, tracing about his origins, and I think it's actually hilarious because you don't do this to some hobo on the street who's saying nonsense. You do this to somebody whose arguments are so good, and you're mad about them, so you dedicate your life about it, and you try to get him in a dirty fashion. So I think that's what a lot of these YouTube people are doing to him, unfortunately.
Sorry, I was reading something. He's just preaching now. I put the link in the stream. My boyfriend actually just joined, the Realistic Nihilist. Josh, I mean, shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, he's just preaching now. So
I wasn't preaching. I was just talking about my speculations on why people are making Darth Dawkins such a target.
So my boyfriend's just going outside because otherwise there's gonna be an echo when he talks. So he's gonna talk to you. Hang on a second. Oh, and okay. I put the link. Sorry, what I was gonna say is I put the link in the stream in the YouTube chat if anybody wants to join. Cutie, you let me interrupt too much. You did a bad job moderating.
Ah, sorry.
He's putting on his shoes so he can go outside so he doesn't wake up the baby in the living room. He's gonna get you. He has a lot of built up rage. I think I might be wrong, but he's trying to take a break from Clubhouse because he thinks it's unproductive from these debates and stuff. But he listens to me debate morons all the time, so he might have a little built up rage and go.
Yeah,
like
well, I don't blame him
because he also did hear the video of you talking to Jack. So I don't know. He might not be triggered, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
he'll destroy you though.
I just don't understand what you're doing, man. Like when you say this shit about like an ultimate or like say the thing that you said, like circular reasoning is fine because that's what everybody has to deal with. Okay. I don't know what support you have for that claim, right? Because like obviously if you have axiomatic beliefs, you don't justify those. They're just unjustified. So it's not, you don't reason in a circle when you do that. And obviously, there are people who are infinitists. There are people who think that you can just give infinite justifications. So what you said, just like strictly speaking, is false. Not everyone's worldview is circular. So
I just want to clarify that it's only the final authority that I'm talking about in their worldview.
I don't even know what that means, the final authority. But my point was just that when you say that everyone's worldview is circular, that's not true. Right? It's just not true.
I'm okay. So do you have a worldview?
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter whether or not I have a worldview.
Well, I mean, again, is there any sort of authority that's guiding you and your decisions and the way you think?
I don't understand the way you're using terms like an authority. I don't know what that means, but it's not interesting because I'm trying to. It's not interesting. Because I'm trying to explain something to you. So the first thing that I said was that what you said was just strictly false, right? I mean, I don't know. When you asked me I gave you the reasons that it's false, right? I said that there are people who have axioms. They don't say that their beliefs are justified. They say that they're axioms, right?
Okay,
So that's not
is that first reason true? Is
What's
that
that?
100% true? Is that proposition? Was that true?
When you, yeah, obviously why did you think I would say a false proposition to you? Yeah, it's true.
Sir, what is your standard for truth?
I don't know what that means. What does it mean for something to be a standard of truth?
How do you know that statement that you just made was true?
How do I know that there are people who say that they believe in axioms?
Yeah, how do you know that?
Because I've read them and I've talked to people who say that. It's like really obvious.
You're basing your past experiences on this current claim?
Yeah.
Wait, how do you know that everything that how reality was in the past is going to be in the present and the future?
Well, I don't understand that question, right? Because like the point is that we're veering off topic, right? You're asking me these claims. Now, I'm not interested in like figuring out like whether or not induction is good with you or something like that. The only thing I'm interested in is pointing out that as long as you accept the justifications I've given you, then as far as you're concerned, that's a reason for you, right? So when I say there are people who believe they have axioms, and there are infinitists who believe that justification goes on ad infinitum, that for every claim, there's just some other justifying claim that justifies it, and that never stops, right? If I say that there are people like that, and there is literature like that, whatever standards you think would qualify as knowledge to that, I'm just going to appeal to those standards. So it's completely irrelevant, right? If you think that you can look that claim up and know it, then whatever standard you're using, that's the one I'm using to get you to accept the argument, okay? So whatever.
Let's just keep it simple. So what is the question, or what are you trying to propose?
Right, well, I was just pointing out that the first thing that you said was not true, right? It's not the case that everyone's view is circular or whatever, right?
Specifically. Okay, are you the authority of your life?
I don't know what do you mean, the authority of my life?
Who has the authority in your life?
What does that mean? I'm asking you how you're using the term, right? Because I couldn't say something like, oh, there's like legal authority, right? Like, so are people called the authorities, right? I'm subservient in some sense to a system.
It's a power right to make decisions or enforce obedience.
I don't know what you mean by, see here, look, you're bringing in a bunch of conceptual baggage that I don't want to go through with you, right? And it's completely irrelevant to my point. So I'm going to refocus you back on the topic because you're getting distracted again. The first thing that I said to you was that what you said about the circular reasoning shit was false.
Final authority is always going to be circular. And again, if you would
I don't know. When you say that,
I think you would admit, if you would just be charitable in this, that you have the authority of your own life. You make your own decisions. Well,
who's going to fucking make my decisions for me? That's tautologically true. Everyone makes their own decisions because no one else can make your decisions. They wouldn't be your decisions if someone else were making them. Well, so yeah, obviously I make my own decisions. If all it means for something to be a final authority is that a person makes their own decisions, then yeah, that's just trivial. Everyone's final authority is themselves because everyone makes their own decisions.
No,
right? Tautologically. What?
I make my decisions based on what God tells me to do.
You decide what you do, right? They're your decisions, though, right? They're your decisions. You make your decisions. God is not making your decisions for you, because if the God was making your decisions for you, they wouldn't be your decisions. This is like really simple to understand. It's a fucking tautology.
Sir, you think you have free will?
News unit's about to be here.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you think you have free will?
Yeah, but look, I don't understand why you're asking these questions. They're not relevant to the point that I was trying to explain to you. So once again, I'm going to refocus you back onto the point, which is, I don't understand how you're using this term final authority, but now that you've said everyone makes their to be a final authority is to just make your own decisions, which is just a ludicrously tautological thing to say. And obviously everyone is a final authority in their life because everyone makes their own decisions tautologically so. So when you say, and let me just be clear, well, once we've gotten this reduction out of you, that what a final authority is in fact everyone making their own decisions, then you're saying everyone. Let me finish what I'm going to say. Let me just finish what I'm going to say because I'm going to go back and rephrase it, given the reduction that you provided me, which is that a final authority means a person makes their own decisions, right? That's what it means to be a final authority. And so when you say everything that's based on a person who makes their own decisions is circular reasoning, is that's valid or something like that, right? What a fucking insane thing to say. You're just saying every worldview is valid. You're literally saying that every worldview is as good as any other when you say that.
Are you done?
Yeah, well, you can refute what I said.
Well, sir, every time I try to, it's nice when you can do we just stay calm and we just have a discussion. I don't mind you interrupting me and me interrupting you. It's how we have a discussion, right? But again, if I just have to hear you just scream through the mic.
Look, if you're going to talk about the fucking meta, then fuck off. I don't want to hear the meta. You can engage what I said, and you can deal with me here as a person, or you can fuck off.
All right,
Sir,
okay.
that's the issue.
I'm gonna start cracking down on interruptions from here on out. Okay, so just go ahead, Bando. Just
Okay.
I think he wants you to define what a final authority is.
That's not what I want.
Well, I think that's the issue here, and simply put, and everyone has a final authority of what they're going to believe is the ultimate to them, and again, everyone has it in the sense that a atheist has it because they believe that there's no God because their internal senses are telling them that there's no God. I believe that there's God because God's word is telling me that there's a God. So again, this is what I mean, and I believe the Quran, or a Muslim would believe the Quran's true because the Quran's telling them the truth. So in this situation, the Muslims' final authority with the Quran, mine is the Bible, and the atheist would be that they're reasoning. And again, it's going to be circular in all these different cases. And again,
now, you say it's circular in all these cases. I don't know why you're saying that, right? That's just begging the question again, which apparently you don't have an issue with begging the question, right? Because you've been doing it this entire time, which is what I actually entered to talk about, not whether or not you're in fact wrong, which you are, and you haven't responded to anything I said about infinitists or people with axiomatic beliefs. You haven't said anything about that. You just shut the fuck up. And when you did decide to say something about it, you just contradicted your fucking self, right? Or you said a tautology, which is that a person's final authority is when they make their own decisions, as if anybody else could make your decisions for you. What a fucking insane thing to say. If anybody else made your decisions for you, it simply wouldn't be your decisions, right? That's just what a decision is. No one else can make your decisions for you. It's just a fucking insane thing to say. But going back to that, the whole reason I brought this up is to point out that, like, okay, fine, let's accept your inane rambling for a few seconds and just tease out what reason anybody has to believe any of it. Because the point is that when you say, oh, it's an ultimate authority, and that's circular, and that justifies it, again, you've just said that if a person is their own final authority, which means they just make their own decisions, so it's just a tautology that everyone is their own final authority because everyone makes their own decisions. And if that's true, then all their reasoning is circular because they make their own decisions. What a fucking insane thing to say, right? A person's reasoning is circular because they make their own decisions. That's what you've been reduced to. That's insanity. What?
Where do your thoughts and desires come from?
I don't see why that would be relevant.
Because you believe you exist because you think you exist. But where do those thoughts come from?
Why would that be relevant?
Because again, this is on topic to our discussion about.
I don't understand how it's on topic.
Well, sir.
Listen, I've taken what you've said. I've taken what you've said, and I've rephrased it back to you. I've taken what you've said, and I've rephrased it back to you. Now, if you're saying something that's supposed to be relevant to me, I have no idea why. Because I've just said your own words in a deconvoluted way back to you to explain something fucking absurd. That's what I've done here. Right? So if you have issue with what I'm saying, that means that you have issue with what you're saying. If you have issue with anything that I've said, that's just because you don't like what you've said.
Dude,
right?
I believe your neighbors are gonna be mad at you if you keep having that sort of level of volume in your speech.
Dude, just calm the fuck down, dude. Just fucking relax, bro. I'm fine. Don't worry about my neighbors. Just continue.
You're the one screaming outside like a maniac right now.
Your mom's gonna take away your World of Warcraft privileges.
Bro, I'm just talking. This is just how I talk. Calm down. Relax. It's okay. I just talk like this. It's fine.
Come on, man. I think. Okay, I'm ready to Godless girl, I'd love to continue our conversation. I think it was really peaceful, calm, regular. Again, this is.
What the fuck? She was fucking screaming at you. I heard it. Now you're just fucking insane. This is the epitome of insanity. I've never seen. Godless was fucking screaming at you. I was there. I was in the room right next to her while she was screaming. You're calling her calm and cordial? Do you not remember 5 fucking seconds ago? Is that what explains this insanity right now? That you can't remember 5 fucking seconds ago?
Buddy. You're being. She was screaming at him. She was screaming at him peacefully. Okay. Yeah. You're screaming at him peacefully. Okay.
Oh my god, I don't get it, man. I don't fucking get it. This is like these standards are bizarre.
You lasted longer than I thought you would. Most people would have run away when I was yelling.
Godless girl doesn't turn her microphone all the way up and do like an autistic rendition.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
So, again, if he's gonna stay in here shouting, then I'm gonna leave. So is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I'd prefer if there's like less.
Okay, well, no, I don't want you to. I don't. If you leave, that I'm gonna end the stream because maybe does anybody want to ask a question from the audience for Ben?
Joshua, at least turn the microphone down a smidge.
Gigi, are you done with him? Are you done?
Oh, well, I don't really feel like debating him anymore tonight, but I'll debate him another time. Like, if he ever wants to argue that my epistemological nihilism is self-defeating, we could do that. Or we could argue about God again, whatever. I just don't feel like debating anymore tonight.
Okay. That's fine. So do you want to do questions?
Yeah, Josh, did you want to make any final comment?
Yeah, the whole point that I came in here to say, the whole reason I came to discuss this is because what I was going to point out about his circularity thing, about the reason that it's okay if it's the final authority, even though that just means a tautology in his view. Even if he's saying that it's okay with the final authority, the only type of justification he could give for that claim, that circular reasoning is permissible if it's a final authority. Why anyone would believe that? No one. I have no idea. But the only kind of justification he could give would be a circular one, and that claim itself couldn't be the final authority, right? So that would be an invalid claim. That would be an invalid instance by his own rights of circular reasoning. So that was actually the reason I came in here, because you can't even justify the claim that circular reasoning from a final authority is permissible, is rational, is correct, or however you want to phrase it.
Sir, why is it not permissible?
I'm saying that you can't justify that it's permissible. That was my point. And when I said that,
anything.
When you said, I don't understand what you're saying, because the point is, if you take the definition of knowledge as justified true belief, then in order to know that, which presumably you're claiming that you do in fact know that circular reasoning is permissible when it comes to a final authority. So hold on a sec. Why are you cutting me off? Presumably you're saying circular reasoning is permissible. I'm just going to finish my sentence. I'm going to finish my sentence whether or not you want it, right? I'm going to finish my sentence whether or not you want me to. So just let me finish my sentence and then you could talk about it. So if you're saying that circular reasoning, either you know the claim that circular reasoning is permissible when it comes to a final authority, or you don't know that it's permissible when it comes to a final authority? So tell me, obviously, on your view, you have to say that circular reasoning is permissible when it comes to a final authority, right? So do you know that or not?
I know. So circular reasoning, and again,
it's a yes or no question.
Circularity is different. Are you aware of that?
What?
So those are two different things. Circular reasoning and epistemological circularity is different.
No, I don't know that. That's like an absurd claim. I've never even heard someone spew that type of word salad ever before in my life. It's completely inane. I have no idea what the fuck you're saying. But if you think that there's a distinction, you can go ahead and illuminate me about what that distinction is supposed to be.
I literally just described it. And again, on everyone's the way that they should think or the way that they should form their worldview, I literally just talked about this in the beginning.
I wasn't here for the beginning, so if you want to explain the difference between epistemological circularity and circular reasoning, I have no idea what that distinction is. If you want to illuminate me, go ahead and try.
All right. Well, I've already talked about it. I think we're good here. Unless you want to say anything else, man, I think I'm done here.
Okay, I don't see any questions from the audience, but thank you for coming on. I hope you come on another time, Bandu. I think you have more courage than other people because I don't think you were too stupid to know, like a lot of people, that you were getting destroyed. I think you were well aware you were getting destroyed, and you still stuck around for a very long time anyway.
I would think differently, but God bless you guys, and hope you guys have a great night.
Have a good night. Okay,
see you, man.
Cutie and Toxic Teller, do you guys want to say anything? Because I'm going to end the stream if nobody else wants to join and stuff.
All right, let's do this shit. So Joshua, is that your name?
That's my boyfriend.
Oh. What's going on?
Not much. What?
So that's how you get to scream. How come we can't hear him screaming in your mic, GG?
Because she already explained that.
I'm in the house.
She kicked him out.
She kicked him out of it. You're outside of the house.
Around the neighbor. I was concerned too when Bandu brought up the neighbors because Josh is outside yelling with our neighbors. But
how could we have like such a high decibel?
Okay, guys, thanks for coming on. I'm gonna end the stream.
All right. Thanks for letting me.
Thank you for modding, Cutie.
I didn't really do shit, but yeah, thanks.
And everybody check out the video where Bandu. It's my last video where Jack Angstrake and Tom Rabbit destroyed Bandu. Jack was really annoyed with him because he was talking highly of Darth Dawkins. Okay, good night, everybody.
Nice. Night, Joshua.